morning, everyone. I have William Hackett Jones here with me this morning. William has flown in from Russia. Today I'm bringing you Secret British Love from Russia. William and I met maybe 4 years ago as I was teaching a course at the Wizard Academy. And William had flown over from Russia. His business was actually struggling a little bit at that point. And I was delighted to be able to share a few concepts that made a real impact in William's business. And I'm so proud, and I just take real delight in hearing now William's story as he applied some of the principles and of course worked his guts out. He was able to take his business, which was basically at the point of failure, and turn it into probably the most profitable translation service in all of Russia. He owns a translation service at the highest margin. Last year he did over $1 million, and we'll come close to that again this year. So without further ado, let me bring you a Brit secret love tips from Russia.
Well, Rich, thanks very much. You've been wonderful hosting me. I spent the whole day yesterday picking his brains and asking questions, so he got his revenge over dinner when he got the whole family to ask questions back. And thank you so much for the course. It was, as you said, 4 years ago, and it was at a moment when we'd started running a translation business. We didn't really know if we were doing things right and if it was going to work at all. And then I saw the course advertised, and I knew that this was either going to tell me, yes, you're doing it right, or no, and this is how to do it right. And some of the things we were doing right, some of the things we didn't have a clue about. I think the very first thing was we had set up the company. My previous company had just gone bust. We'd set it up with no money, basically no clients, and one of the initial precepts of business bootstrapping is you don't need investment, you don't need loans, you don't need all the other things. You need your intellectual capital, you need your relationship capital, and maybe a tiny bit of cash. Well, we had my business partner's $2,500 credit card limit, and we used that for the first couple of months to pay our freelancers before cash started coming in.
I love that. Bag the $5,000 I start with. You do it with $2,500.
Well, I think
we got a new gold standard, everyone.
I think we'd had 5,000. It would have made it easier, but whatever. A second one would be very much, don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to be completely different and do your own thing. All the other translation companies are competing on price, and we said, well, what's the point in joining that market? Let's triple the price, which we still are. The dog's trying to get it.
And that's my dog, Butterscotch.
Triple the price and just say, no, the far more important thing for this is quality, and it's worked. People come to us because they've heard about it, they need it, and not because we're trying to sell it to them.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think so frequently people do attempt to think that the only competitive advantage you can have is price. But you've proven that's just not the case. I think you actually can differentiate, and I think you set yourself above if you say, no, we refuse to compete on price, and people then want it more.
You'll lose some clients, sure, but then they were
probably the clients you don't want. Yeah,
the problem was
don't want them anyways.
And I think the other great thing is the zigzagging thing, which obviously moved on to become its own concept, where we started thinking, well, we'll translate a bit and build up a bit of capital, and then we didn't know what to do next.
Yeah. And
you pointed it out, you laid out the plan. First get to a bit of money, then get to adding some resources, then scale a bit, then get back to money. And zigzagging both in that sense and also in the sense of what kind of business are we going to do. So first of all it was a bit of translation, then we had this huge opportunity to do transcription, which is probably one of the dullest jobs in the world. But we learned quickly how to do it really well, and basically there's nobody else doing it to the level that we're doing it. So we've sort of cornered the market, and that was what took us to $1 million last year.
That's brilliant.
Transcription and not translation, although the translation is doing very well.
That's absolutely brilliant. It's so fun to see just the intense fire and confidence in your eyes now versus 4 years ago.
It's a bit lost there.
Absolutely, everyone, you can do it. $2,500, not $5,000, to $1 million business, a Brit, in Russia. So proud of you and so respect you. Thanks so much for sharing that story.
Thank you for the help.